I have taken these chapters. So see, today we'll be covering what? Today we'll be covering causes and consequences of migration, right? I think I'll put this on the next last point. First, we'll be covering the world population problem, policy, social well-being, and the quality of life. Population as social capital, and then types and patterns of rural settlements. Okay, and then we will do environmental issues in rural settlement again. Okay, these all topics will be covered in this. All right. So for that, I have prepared the notes, and this time I won't be dictating in the class. We will have this with you, and then we can have the discussion. Okay, I think probably for the first time we are having this, because it will take a lot of time otherwise too. Population as well. Test first. People, have you given the test? Okay. Come. So you found the test difficult, but these are the questions that we have done in the class, and these were all inspired. These questions are all inspired from PYQ as well. That's fine, but ये हाँ मुझे पता था, थोड़ा तो टेस्ट मैंने डिफिकल्ट रखा था एज कम्पेयर टू प्रीवियस वन, जो हमने प्रीवियस टेस्ट किया था. हाँ, these are 3 notes of 3 topics. I get the same. What happened to Rahul? Everything is fine with him? Because online he's not attending. I think some otherwise so he never misses the class, no? I think he has attended previous class with you, right? On Friday. Okay. So this is types and patterns of rural settlement. What else I've given to you? There's one more I've given to you, right? World population problems and policy. These are 3 of your speech. Have you covered the previous one? I mean, do you had the recordings? No. You were not there. So how did you will cover it up? Online है ना recorded? ठीक है. All right. See, now the first topic that we are going to discuss is, so today you don't have to write. These are the notes that you will be provided in the coming classes. These are only your notes, okay, that you have to keep. So these are comprehensive notes. They have everything, examples, definition, what scholars have said. So I'll be discussing all of that in today's class. Okay. All right. So starting with the first one, which is your population as a social capital, right? What do you understand by social capital? Can I have the... What do you understand by social capital? Social wealth. Okay. What is social wealth then? Yes, society as a resource. That is a apt definition of it. Social capital. This society as a resource. Now, why we are taking it as a resource? Because it is beneficial. जो भी चीज हमारी benefit की है, that is a resource. ठीक है. अब social capital को define करने की different scholars ने different तरीके लिए. They have taken different pathways to describe it. So first of all, we'll go with the definition, right? So that we can understand what is social capital literally means, and then we'll go how they have been defined differently. Now, also we will discuss about the types of social capital. You can just go through your notes, right? Types of social capital. Come. Rahul, you have a very long life. We're just discussing about you. Come. Okay. Now, different perspective on social capital. You have not got the notes? Okay. You take it from me then. Okay. Types. Have you given the test? Acha, no, weren't there in Delhi. Okay, okay, okay. Take one more. I think how many of you have got? The one you have got is types only, no? You good. One you have got of types or what? Types. Okay. The other one is of world population problem. Just hold on. I'll take it. I'll take it. No problem. And one is more. Rahul, take one more. कम तो नहीं पड़ गया, I guess. Social capital, ना? Just hold on. Yeah. Population of social. Okay. So these are three topics that we have to discuss, right? Now, coming on to the first one, describe the social capital as it represents whatever you have to mark or add, just add it there, okay? Whatever I have to add additional points, you will add in the notes only, because today we are not going to write, we are going to just discuss that, and already you have the notes with you. That is the best part. Social capital represents one of the most powerful metaphors in the public governance. Social capital is all about the value of social networks, bonding similar individuals and bridging diverse people with the norms of trust and reciprocity. What do you mean by reciprocity? For example, if I'm talking to you and give and take, right? If you are responding in the same manner, that is known as reciprocity. Today, social capital has been used to explain a wide range of socio-cultural phenomena that significantly determine the process of development. Do you think social capital is important for the world development? And if it is, then why? Why it is important? Why? Hmm. 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 Huh. Hmm. 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 But when we are talking about the society, hmm. Hmm. So now we have to narrow it down. Are we talking about the society in a very narrow manner or a broad manner? First, understand. Society can be anything which, for example, in a hamlet, few group of people are staying, that also we call it as society. Now you have a separate subject in your your mains, which you call it as Indian society, India as a society, Indian society, right? Can we talk at a world level also, society, right? Where people go from one place to another, and then they're having the people from different cultures who are staying together, right? So society can be anything. Now उसका जो effects हैं वो भी different होंगे, ठीक है? The repercussions that it will have, that will also be different. There is one more way to define the social capital. Social capital refers to the network. It's not given in the notes. Social capital refers to the network of relationship. Just write down at the back of your notes. पीछे space है बहुत ज़्यादा. Okay. Social capital refers to the network of relationships. It refers to the network of relationships, comma, shared norms. I'll write down the keywords. Network of relationships. I have to read the comments also. Wait. Hold on. Okay. Network of relationships. Next is shared norms. What else? Comma, trust, comma, trust, and reciprocity within the community. Reciprocity within the community, right? That enable collective action, that enable connective action for, that enable collective action for mutual benefit. See, society can exist as long as all are getting benefited. Okay? For the mutual benefit and societal progress. And societal progress. Next point. It acts as a valuable asset. It acts as a valuable asset that fosters social cohesion. That fosters social cohesion. Next, enhances governance, and facilitates 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 cooperation and facilitates cooperation, right? And and problem solving act and problem solving at both individual and community level, at both individual and community level. ठीक है? Are we okay with this? Are we getting what they are trying to say? So social capital, that is what they are talking about, population as a social capital. So capital is very important. क्यों important is social capital? Why we are considering this? Because it is going to be very very important. अगर किसी country का social capital is very good, then we can bank on that country. ठीक है? और जिस country का social capital is not that good, then we cannot bank. ठीक है? There are many multiple factors why we target social capital, why we assess social capital. ठीक है? सबसे पहला significance क्या है? Community development. ठीक है? Write down the significance also. We have enough page there. Write down the significance of this. First is community development. Can you tell me one example where the social capital in the terms of shared values or norms, they are building the better community? One example from any community that you can take. I have one example with me. Tell me yours. Any experience that you have? Sikh community, okay? Yes, one of the excellent example from India, that the Sikh community are actually helping, and they are the one who are working as a team whenever there is any disaster is happening. Not only in Punjab, when COVID-19 happened, they were one of the people, with one of the community who actually helped lot many people, and without any self interest. That is what the whole purpose of humanity is, right? And when we have such kind of people, we have such type of community with us, then the trust builds. That is what we have written in the definition, that building what? Trust. And trust is built with the action, with the right action. Now again, I like to give the example of Japan. They are one of the people who have excellent cleanliness routine, right? They are taught in their schools. I mean, children are taught in their schools till the age of 6 or 7, that how they have to actually build the integrity, trust, how they have to value the small things in the life, right? How they have to respect others, and keeping their everything, like from their belongings, from their for example, if they see something which is fallen down on the road, then how they have to actually react to respond to it, right? That is one of the country which actually favors, and they put the yes, the civil values, the civil etiquettes above everything. If they are standing in the queue, then they will keep on standing in the queue. Nobody dare to cross it. Yeah, nobody dare to avoid that, or uh, go in front, or maybe they are not ready for that. अगर कोई foreigner ऐसा करता भी है वहाँ पे, so they look down upon them, right? Any foreigner who is going out as a tourist, then they look down upon them that this is not right, this is not acceptable. This is how it has been maintained. And also I have heard of many examples where they have talked about the cleanliness of each and every place of Japan. Like literally you go to any place, then it will be clean like anything, because they have been told, they have been made to learn civic sense like anything, right? So this is one of the example that you can give. One is community that he has given, right? So community development, social capital is essential for sustainable community development. For sustainable community development, can you tell me in which goal it should come in? Can you tell me in which goal it should come in? Goal. Which goal it should come in? Your goal number 1 में नहीं आना चाहिए, 2 में नहीं, 3 is good health and well-being, 4th is your education, 5th is your hunger हो चुका second में, 5th is your what? No, there is a goal number 7 also, building, I think, safe community. I think it should come in SDG 7, right? So you have to also see the social capital should come in which sustainable growth. You have how many SDGs? You have 17 SDGs, right? 17 SDGs you are having, then that should be learned by you like anything, because these are some of the things that you can actually use in any format, क्योंकि सब कुछ आपका है sustainable cities, right? There is a SDG which is called as we have to make a sustainable cities, and cities are made up of also people, so it directly goes with that sustainable development goal, right? Can you read out 11 number? What is, please read it out. Correct, it is SDG 11. Can you tell me the objective? To make sustainable cities and communities. Can you tell me the objective? Please read out the objective for me. This is the whole SDG. Please write it down. Right? So, yes, please repeat again. Objective is focused on making cities, cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. This is the. So don't you think in social capital this SDG 11 should be referred to definitely when we are talking about this, right? Okay. Now comes how till where you have written? Full stop. Sorry, comma. As it enables resident to collaborate on local issues. As it enable residents to collaborate on local issues. Now, second is your urban and rural geography. Urban and rural geography. Urban and rural geography. Write down. It helps explain variations in. It helps to explain variations in community resilience. In community resilience. Just hold on. Hello. Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'm in the class, ma'am. अभी करती हूँ मैं, हाँ? Okay, I'll do it. ठीक है? It helps explain variations in community resilience, comma, social cohesion. social cohesion, and differential success of and differential success of development initiatives. Development initiatives. ठीक है? Okay, the next is governance and policy. Write down the next is governance and policy. Next is governance and policy. Okay. Write down governance and policy. Write down under it. High social capital can lead to more effective governance. How do you agree with this point? Do you agree with this point? High governance. होता है governance? बताइए. So how it leads to better governance? Can you tell me? Or tell me. Better implementation of the policies is fine, but do you think that if the people are not able to accept it, if the people are not that good enough, do you think it will be able to, we will be able to implement all those policies? Is it possible or not? Isn't possible? Can you give me a good example?
There is no social cohesion, then each community will fight for their own resources. Thus, the elected governance happens.
Okay. Can you give me the example where actually the governance scheme failed because of the people? One example. The governance failed because of the people, because people could not understand it, or people could not implement it in a better way. On the other hand, normal scheme turned out to be beautifully implemented in a particular area because the people were aware, or they actually wanted to make it happen. Hmm? Hmm? हाँ, rights कर सकते हैं, लेकिन कब? Where people won't be able to accept. But you have to give me one example from there. Otherwise, it will be a monologue from my end. सिर्फ बताना. No, see, my job is also so to make you think that where all this can be applied.
Education policies in southern states,
Hmm.
as those same policies in northern states are like.
Can you tell me one policy? Do you think GST was successful in India? Right? Initially, it was not, because people could not understand, because we are also of the mindset that people won't be tech savvy, because they are not, right? But they find out the intermediators, jahan pe they were pushing them. But later on, with the help of the people, and people also got aware, the implementation of GST turned out to be very nicely, right? What is it? GST, goods and services tax, right? Who implemented it for the first time? There are countries like Australia who have implemented it for the first time, and other countries have also taken. Now GST has been implemented so well in India, but tell me one scheme which was not implemented well because people could not cooperate. Privatization of agriculture farms. We have farm laws, a big disaster because people could not understand. People were not cooperative, right? They had their apprehensions. Okay, so these are the two contrasts that we can see in India itself. Demonetization, okay, for a very less period of time, yes, that turned out to be not very nice. I do agree that, because again, because there was a case that they were discussing about that how much money has been. There's one meme also on that. I think, have you seen that? Say it, we are going live. So that is meme also that was happening, that how much money has been, because they were expecting a lot of black money to come back. It was expected, but it was less only, in fact. Have you seen that video? Okay, I was referring to that only. ठीक है? Okay, so बहुत ही कम black money it came back, and I think the purpose that they wanted to do this did not come out to be fulfilled, and they were actually the people who were impacted by this, right, at the ground level. Okay. So this is governance. Does it come in the part of the governance? Yes. Any policy which has been introduced and where the people have to accept it, where the people have to implement it, that is your governance and policy. ठीक है. अभी कौन से point पे हम लोग? Third पे. Have you written the explanation? Okay. Now the fourth is resource management. It plays vital roles in managing common resources. It helps vital role in managing common resources. Okay, coming back to the topic, the first documented use of the term social capital is attributed to Lyda Judson Hannifin in 1916, right? You can just call it simply as Hannifin 1960. You don't have to learn the whole name. And they were the first one who actually introduced the term social capital. Hannifin referred social capital as a property of communities that could be utilized to improve the well-being of the people in the society. Social capital started to be used more frequently in academia in 1980s. However, it gained popularity and spread beyond academia during the last 3 decades. Today, it has become a familiar term in the community development, business, and politics. Right now, coming to the types of social capital, we do have the types of social capital, and there can be a question also on this. And there are different differences of all this. The first one that we are going to talk about is structural social capital. It refers to the pattern of structures and networks such as association. Do we have the different association, clubs, etc., right? Where we can see different communities because they have the same interest. Because, for example, somebody likes to play polo, then they will have different clubs. For example, they want to have more of investment in the startups, then they will have the community as angel investors club, right? Yes, corporate, right? So all those will be forming a group and institution supplemented by rules procedure that govern them. The objective externally observable structural social capital facilitates mutual benefit. Cooperative societies are also one of the example of it where they're having the mutual benefits. This is called as structural social capital. Now next is your cognitive social capital. What do you understand literally by the word cognitive? Intelligence, the way you are thinking, the ability to think is simply cognitive. It primarily consists of a set of shared norms, values, attitudes, and belief of individual relating to trust, reciprocity, and cooperation. The subjective and intangible cognitive social capital predisposes people towards mutually beneficial connective action through shared values. Now understand, the kind of people I would like to hang around versus the kind of people you want to hang around can be different based on a mutual interest. Maybe I am interested in something else because my cognitive thinking is more of that I trust these group of people and my interest lies here, my inclination lies here, so I will be forming the part of this. But you will be like, no, I want to form a part of that because my inclination lies there, and could be. For example, we highly see that now, I don't know if it's there, majority of the males they like the this cricket association. They are part of the cricket association. They like to watch the cricket match a lot rather than the females, right, rather than the girls. So they are not so interested unless somebody is forcing them to watch it. That's fine. Okay. So that's the case, but high probability of boys involved in it are more, right, rather than anybody else. Okay. Okay. Now next is your bonding social capital. What is this bonding? When people form the association because they are very close together. For example, your families, your classmates, your siblings, your friends, they all are forming the bonding. So it refers to the interaction to the among the people who are very close. Bonding capital is localized and found among people who live in the same or adjacent community, or maybe they are coming from the same industry. That also happens. The people from the same industry tend to be closer together. It's not highly, there is no mandate in that, but possibility of that is more. For example, a cricketer knowing a cricketer or a politician knowing a politician, the probability is more than, obviously आप different industries से भी लोगों को जान सकते हो, that is not a issue, not an issue, but this is the case. Now bridging the social capital. Now what do you mean by bridging? जो differences है उनको कम करना. Bridging means that. Okay. Now bridging social capital. It is more outward looking and engaged in a civic way. It narrows the gap between different communities and exercises open membership. Bridging social capital is crucial for solving people's problem through encouraging individuals to know each other, for building strong relationship and sharing information and mobilizing resources. Right. Next is linking social capital. It refers to interaction and networks among individuals, group who occupy different social positions and power. What do you mean by linking? How do you network? What do you mean by networking? There's a very high term, like a lot, like nowadays we hear this term a lot in the corporates, and networking is very important, right? What is this networking? Right. We are trying to meet people from the all walks of life. That is called networking, right? And then you have the high teas there. You interact, you talk to them, right? Some, if they are building some, you, for example, you have the mutual interest, then you try to carry on that networking further, right? This is what happens. So this is called linking. Then there is another term which is horizontal social capital. It refers to lateral relationship between people of similar status and power in the community. Horizontal means what? See, one is this vertical. When I'm trying, there is a class differentiation which is there, right? Right, on the higher level you have the elites, etc., and then on the lower level, and then the middle level, right? So if I'm trying to talk to the person who is at the higher level, then that is called the vertical, right? But in the same level, at the same level, if I'm trying to interact with the people, that is known as horizontal social capital. Okay. It refers to lateral relationship. Lateral means like this, okay. Lateral relation between people of similar status and power in the community. Okay. Now we will also discuss about the different perspective on social capital. What is the first perspective that one has? Can you tell me the name of the scholar who has prescribed social capital? It is Bourdieu's theory of capital, right? What they are saying? Terry Bourdieu has been an important contributor to the contemporary idea of social capital. He used the term social capital to describe the resources to which individuals have access as a result of their membership in the groups. Please underline the term membership in the groups. Full stop. Social capital is a virtual resource that is acquired by individuals or group through the possession of more or less institutionalized relationship of mutual acquaintances and recognition. So it's not important that two people should have the relationship only to make the so the networking, right, or the close ties, right? We can not have any relation and still we can make good networks, right? So this is what he has to say. And also the social capital term is not so tangible. You cannot touch, you can just feel it. It is an intangible thing, right? Now next is Coleman's rational choice approach to social capital. Now Coleman has tried to give a rational verdict. The rational means logical. They try to see the social capital from the logical perspective. James Coleman proposed his concept of social capital in the context of rational choice theory. Coleman termed social capital as a collective asset of the group, which is essentially residing in the social structure of relationship among people. Coleman saw the social capital as a public good where Actions of individual benefit the whole. Actions of individual benefit the whole. Can you tell me one example where actions of individual benefit the whole? Recently from the Trump presidency, H-1B visas, right? It is benefiting whole American community now. Do you know about this? What is that?
There is a fees, extra fees for actually visa holders.
How much?
$1 lakh.
It's too much.
Around 80 like that.
It's too much, right? Earlier used to have the total fee was only $5,000 to 6. We'll do the discussion of this also. We'll try to relate what Trump is doing with the migration issues and the causes, and what will be the consequences of. We'll try to relate both of them. But for now, these group of people doing one thing, how it changes the society. Now, what he has come with the additional fee of $1 lakh, right? And when he's bought that 1 lakh, that is going to benefit the Americans a lot, right? In 2017, he has said one term which is called as, in his presidential speech, by the way, buy Americans and hire Americans. And in 2013 and 15 nearly, he has tweeted, I'm going to just wipe off this H-1B visas forever, right? Some tweets have given the traces that he was about to do what he has done in a very short time period recently, okay? So now, coming on to the next scholar, which is Robert D. Putnam's Civic Perspective on Social Capital. Robert David Putnam's idea of social capital is that social networks contain value for individuals. Does it contain value for individuals? Yes, definitely. Then why you are the part of the community? You are part of the community only because you have light interest in that, vested interest. Social capital refers to the features of social organizations such as networks, norms, and trust that facilitates action and cooperation for mutual benefit. Mutual benefit. Like physical and human capital, social interaction influence the productivity of individuals and groups. Physical capital remains in physical objects. Human capital is the property of individuals. Right? This is the whole term. Please read it out clearly and let me know if you have any doubt in this. So this is just a perspective of a scholar, right? Have I given somebody a paper in which something has been written? Ruler settlement. Mein. Is it like that? You take this one. Okay. Okay. So the next topic that we are going to move is types and patterns of ruler settlement. A very short topic to be discussed. Or is the question that we can expect. There are two types of settlement, basically rural and urban, that we'll do differently. Okay. Now, types and patterns. What do you understand by rural settlement? First of all, and then we'll do the major factors influencing it. Right. Types of rural settlements, and that's it. It's a very short topic. Right. Tell me the types and patterns of rural settlement. What are they? क्या है types and patterns of rural settlement? First of all, describe rural settlement. What it is? Housing units where? In the rural areas, right? Okay. Agriculture occupation, definitely. less population, yes, you can call it as dispersed, right? So inhabitants of the rural settlement depend for their livelihood upon the exploitation of the soil. That is the main thing. Small fishing, quarrying, mining, forestry, caps, etc. A typical village has a secondary workers supplying services to the primary group of farmers and the farm laborers as a shopkeeper. Now, the proportion of population in each of these classes bear to the total village population, which varies with the kind of farming characteristics of locality and the quality of the soil and attractiveness. Obviously, the alluvial, where the alluvial soil is there, then what will happen? The population will be more, right? And the places where the soil are arid, or maybe they are not supporting the vegetation, the population is going to be less. It's not like that they are not going to practice it. Practicing agriculture is possible everywhere with the help of the irrigation and the new technologies which can be infused. But the point is, the level of the vegetation yield that one area is giving can be differed. For example, alluvial, the productivity is the highest, and if you compare the arids, because only the pulses can be grown there because they are moisture resistant, they are crop resistant, right? So sorry, drought resistance, and they also do not require a lot of water, right? The pulses can be grown highly in the Rajasthan. And millets also, yes, definitely. A bajra, jowar, ragi, they are also one of the part of it. Okay. Now we are coming to the main factors influencing ruler. The first one, as I discussed, is the nature of topography. Very, very important. What do you understand by nature of topography? किस तरह से नेचर है, रिलीफ कैसा है, प्लेन है, माउंटेनियस है, प्लेटो है, सॉरी प्लेटू है, और you have to also discuss the local weather conditions, right? How is the weather conditions of that place? For example, more moisture will leads to what? More vegetation, right? More rainfall will leads to what? More vegetation, right? The possibility is high. Again, the quality of the soil, as I've already discussed, your yes, who is this? Yes, who is this? So local weather conditions, right? So what are these local weather conditions that we have? Can you stress upon that? Huh. Yes, how much rainfall and aridity. For example, type of the soil. How is the type of the soil there? I discussed about this with alluvial versus normal, right? Now the nature of surface and subsurface water. What do you understand by this? Nature of surface and subsurface water. Hmm? And groundwater, yes. The surface waters is lake, right? Presence of rivers, streams, etc. And the subsurface is your how much level of groundwater is present in that particular area. Next is pattern of land holding. How do you describe the pattern of land holding? Don't you think that a lot of small landholders are actually not getting a lot of benefits, right? Rather, when you have the big hectares of land, then it is much better because the crop yield is also going to be better rather than the small land holdings, right? So the sixth one is your social organization. Now read on this paragraph. Yes, hello Siddharth. Hello. If you have any doubts with that, just let me know. I have to also see the online students question. Okay, so Stapna is saying, ma'am, is it different particularly in sixth goal? Ma'am, is it different particularly in the 16th goal? Peace, justice, and strong. Yes, definitely. Stapna, 16th goal that you're talking about is different. It is talking more from the perspective of strong institution, peace that has to be maintained in different parts of the world. It is, but it's not related to what we are reading. Social capital is not related. Next is, so it enables citizen participation and cooperation and trust in government. Okay, correct. All right. Next. Okay, so what this paragraph is saying, depending on the size, rural settlements can be classified as hamlets. Right? What do you understand by hamlets? Which are having a very, very less population, almost negligible, बहुत कम. ठीक है, a very few houses only, true villages, community villages and large villages reside there. True village communities are just ancient and long settled villages where in extreme cases no personal property exists and everything belongs to community of peasants, right? Next is, besides agriculture villages, there also exist forest villages, mining and quarrying villages, fishing villages and villages chiefly supported by tourist industry. The first point is, many industrial and mining villages are unprepossessing, which suffer from ugly and drab surroundings. Now you're fishing and these are the consequences how people go in these areas and they are polluting the area, so that you can just skip this part. Okay. All right. So we'll come to the types of the rural settlement, which is our main, because see, they will ask a direct question, what are the types of rural settlement and differentiate, or maybe they can give two types of settlement and they will tell you to differentiate between both of them. Types is any settlement in which most of the people are engaged in agriculture, forestry, mining, fishery. This is known as rural, that we have already discussed. The first kind of type that we have is compact settlement. Now, what do you understand by compact settlement? They are the closely built dwellings. जब आपकी buildings हैं, whatever your mud houses, anything which is there, which are very, very closely built. Simply, you can just define it in one word: closely built dwellings. That's it, your compact settlement. They are the concentrated settlements. A compact settlement is based on farming. These are mostly found in highly productive alluvial plains like Indo-Gangetic plains. For example, your Wang Ho Valley or valleys of Nile, the houses are compact and congested with narrow plains, right? Where you will find such type of settlements in the fertile lands or valleys. The size of the settlements depend on the nature and resources of surrounding country. Okay, they have a high degree of segregation and differentiation of upper and lower. That is a second very, very important unique point. Please make it a second point, that they have highly what? The differentiation between higher and lower classes, right? And they are found doing hunting, fishing communities. Yes, caste, higher and lower caste. So next is your semi-compact settlement. What do you understand by semi-compact? फिर से उतना कॉम्पैक्ट नहीं होगा, बट फिर भी थोड़ा सा गैप्स होंगे. सेमी compact is a transitional phase in the growth of compact settlement. The emergence is because of the differences of semi-arid regions from humid regions, right? Because क्यों डिफरेंस है दोनों एरिया में? क्योंकि स्पार्स क्यों है? क्योंकि दो तरह के एरियाज एक ही जगह होंगे, सेमी एरिड भी होगा, उसमें एरिड भी होगा. So you'll have the more population near towards the humid regions because you will have the better cultivation, right? All right. Now, next one is dispersed. The word itself is telling what do you mean by dispersed settlement. These generally is found in the hills, plateaus, and grasslands. These are found in areas where it is essential that farmers should live on his own land. Overpopulation is one of the reasons for dispersed settlements. If a part of the population left a village to found a new one, they often found dispersed rather than a new village. Okay. The spot settlements are relatively recent in age, like steppe grassland of Kyrgyzstan. Do you understand what steppe grassland? What is the characteristics of steppes? You must have done in your geography and GS also and optional also. What are steppes grasslands? They are one of the temperate type of grasslands which are found in Russia, Kazakhstan, Central Asia majorly, and also in some parts of हाँ, वहाँ पे भी मिलेगा. So these are the steppes. Steppes are one of the most important grasslands of Russia, your Central Asia, some parts of Central Asia, and there you find prairies, right? They are also temperate grassland. They are the type of temperate definitely, but not steppes. You find there prairies. ठीक है? So these are the types of the steppes grassland which are found. तो कैसे होते steppes grassland में जो settlement है? Quite dispersed. ठीक है? Now next is pattern of rural settlement. Now, what is rural settlement pattern? The pattern of settlements is defined as relationship between one house building to another building. Right? You're trying to define कि कैसा relation है एक house का building का to another. It can be identified by reading and observing a local scale map. The pattern of settlement deals with the compact and semi-compact only, as dispersed has its own shape. The socio-cultural factors like caste structure or functional needs of people are also involved. The rural settlements are classified under following pattern: rectangular, linear, circular, semicircular, star-like, triangular, nebular pattern. Very, very important. Please underline all of them. And we will do the classification one by one. Okay? See, these are very, very static topic. You have to just learn and mug it up. There is no much you have to think about it. Obviously, you can think of the examples from your surroundings or from the world. That is allowed. The creative liberty is allowed to everyone that you can do, but more or less the topics are very, very static. Okay? The first is your rectangular pattern. What is this rectangular pattern? Is the first one that we are discussing is rectangular pattern. What is this rectangular pattern? Obviously, just like its name suggests, that how the people are living like this in a rectangular format, right? People are living like this. And why they are having this such formation? This is the most common. First of all, the main characteristic is this is the most common observed pattern in rural settlement. They are developed over flat, fertile, alluvial plain and wide valleys. कहाँ कहाँ मिलेगा? Fertile plain, alluvial plain और wide valleys में. वहां पे आपको डेफिनेटली ये पैटर्न मिलेगा. ठीक है? Next, the street in rectangular settlements are straight and at right angle to each other. You can have the examples also. Satluj Ganga plain is one of the example. Then one is planned settlement of Germany. This is also one of the examples. Then Malaysia, Israel and France. Next, you have a linear pattern. What is a linear pattern? Right, the houses are aligned on the straight line like this, right? So the houses are aligned along the sides of the road, railway line, river, canal, valley, whatever you take. The physical restrictions with these sites give rise to linear pattern. The example, can you tell me one more example of it? In Italy, there is a very famous city which has been made on the linear pattern only. Okay. Next, they are considered line city in Saudi Arabia. Can you tell me the name of the city? अच्छा, नाम ही the line है. Okay, okay. Well, are you sure that they are making the city on the linear manner? Okay, so this is one example that we can take, the line. But why they are making it in a line? Have you not tried to probe it through that? In Saudi Arabia, they are trying to make it in a linear pattern. This one. Why? Why they are making it? Is it the physical restrictions that are making them such? So the decision. Yes, that is interesting. And now you can relate it to the patterns. Okay. Okay. One of the recent example that we can have is from the Ganga Yamuna plain in valleys in Alps and Rocky Mountains. Valleys in Alps and Rocky Mountains. The next one we have circular and semicircular pattern. You have circular and semicircular patterns. Your cities are constructed like this. You have this, and then the cities are constructed on the border in circular pattern. Like settlements along the sea coast. right? Around the lakes, over the mountain tops, and they are the cities. For example, in Delhi only we have a very famous place. It's called as. It's not actually city, but huh? No, CP, you can also say that has been made in a round manner. Good example from CP, the settlement is round. But I won't say the whole part of the Delhi. There's a very small part, which I think model town, right? The lake is there in between, and then the houses are made such so, right? A very small lake is there in between, and the houses are made on a in a circular manner around it, so people can have the view of the lake. They are made on a circular manner in Bihar also. That's great. So see, this is how you start observing the things, right? All right. What example you give? CP. Okay, that is also good. Hmm. Have you ever gone to CP that you just forget every your K, G, etc.? It's challenging, and also every time CP is a classic case. Whenever you go there, the more confused you get, right? And it's very hard to, unless you are just going there for very often times. They're like the outer circle, then the inner circle, right? And then you keep on revolving. Sometimes you just yes. There's a new experience that you have, right? It's very interesting. Go be adventurous here. Okay, now next is your star shape. Star shape कैसा होना चाहिए? Like this, right? So at places where the roads converge, radial or star-shaped settlement develop. The new parts of settlement grow along the roads in all directions. The examples of it can be Punjab in India and parts of Northwest Europe and Yang Zeklang. These are plains of Yang. I think it's in China. Yang Zekiang. It's a part of, I think, China. Okay, I just tell you confidently that whether it is. Okay, so what do you get from this? What are the characteristics? Hmm. हाँ, it's in China only. हाँ, it's in China. बताइए. How it is star shaped? What are the characteristics? It's developed around also. So what should be the shape of it that they are calling it star? Converge where? Converge on the center, right? And then they are having their own settlement, something like that. And that is how the star is. It is like this only, right? So they are coming and converging at this point, right? This is a kind of a settlement that you have. Okay, so the point we have discussed here, Punjab in India is one of that. Okay, you can just read it at your own pace. At places where roads converge, radial or star shaped develop. This is also radial. Can you tell me one river also which is radial in nature, coming from the Amarkantak plateau? This is Amarkantak plateau, and from here the river, there is a shape of river also, na, which is radial. Settlement meaning radial. Rivers भी radial होती है. Stone river, right, which is emerging out of it. Yes, Narmada also, and it is coming out of this, and they are forming the radial patterns. Okay. Okay, next is rectangular pattern. Points such as meeting place of the rivers give rise to rectangular patterns of the settlement. Now next is nebular pattern. It is a circular pattern developing all around a center. This center could be anything ranging from a temple to landlord's house. Rural settlement can be classified based on the size and patterns of the shape. Okay, what will be the difference between nebular and circular then? It is a circular pattern developing all around a center. This center could be anything ranging from a temple to a landlord house. Can you tell me what should be the difference between them then? Circular में और nebular में फिर क्या difference होगा? Nebular is because of? And how can you say so? See, you have to write more in the nebular pattern because this is not explanatory to differentiate between circular. So nebular pattern refers to a type of ruler settlement that has nearly circular arrangement. जहाँ तक explain आपको explain हो रहा है, that's fine. उसके बाद you will start writing the characteristics. ठीक है? From the central point, assembling a nebula. This central point is often the site of a village landlord's house, temple, mosque, etc. Key characteristics क्या हैं इसकी? A prominent feature such as landlord's house or regional building serves as a settlement core. ठीक है? इसमें क्या है? You have to place one significant point as a core. जैसे आपने टेम्पल को कोर पे रखा या फिर लैंडलॉर्ड्स के हाउस को कोर पे रखा, दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट. पर सर्कुलर में ऐसा नहीं हो रहा. सर्कुलर है, इसके आसपास आपने इस तरह से you have made the houses. There is no core in this. But nebular में क्या है? There is a core which is there, and then this is important significant house of some important person or maybe temple, and then after that you are making settlements around it. ठीक है? That is important. Hard to believe? Okay. Then circular road network, roads from a circular spiral pattern. They are majorly spiral, right? Can you see that how the shape is? Roads from the circular or spiral pattern emanating from or converging at the central nucleus. So this is how they are. Example आप लिख सकते हैं, because example I am not given in this. Write down. Hilly and undulating regions. Hilly and undulating regions in India. Undulating, UNDU, sorry, INDU, LATING. Regions in India such as Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Such as Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Next is Shillong Plateau in India. Shillong Plateau in India. These are some of the examples that you can take. Okay. Anything else in this? Just revise whole and then we'll move to another topic, which is world population problem, policy, social well-being and quality of life. If you have any doubts, just have a look at the notes and then let me know. मतलब अगर लीनियर सिटी होगा तो फिर आई हैव टू गो टू ग्रोसरी, एंड इफ इट्स फॉर एग्जांपल 5 किलोमीटर्स, अगर सामने होगा तो आई कैन गो लाइक दैट. ग्रोसरी सऊदी अरेबिया में अच्छा, कॉम्पैक्ट मतलब एक एक then another, अच्छा like blocks.
Would have all the activities that
Okay, 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 okay. Like a complex. Hmm. तो कितनी दूर पे होगा या बेसिक इमेजेस? 150 kilometers. That's nice. 200 meters. Okay, okay.
the outdoors would be made of glass.
Hmm.
And it says that high speed rail is there.
Factories would
Like, no cars, no roads.
then on general
Hmm. Okay. Hmm. So this is how you relate with the present. Now you start, the best part of reading the syllabus is that you start relating by such, so इस pattern को क्या बोलते हैं, why pattern is, तो आप सिर्फ पढ़ नहीं रहे हैं, आप apply भी कर रहे हैं उसको, ठीक है? Okay. World population problems, policies, comma, social well-being and quality of life. So what do you understand by social well-being? First of all, tell me, there is any SDG for social well-being? What is that SDG? Goal number 3. The SDG goal number 3, which is social. No, that is SDG 3 is very. That is important for your mains also. It is important. Yes, good health and well-being. And there was a wonderful article in Hindu on the good health and well-being few days back. पूरा SDG 3 पे ही था article. I think that it must be lying on my table right now also. Like, it was such a wonderful article that it was only focusing SDG 3. And it's important that you should remember all the SDGs by heart. Why? For the prelims point of view also, and for the mains, you'll be writing and using them in every GS. Your GS 1, 2, 3, your ethics, your essay, everywhere. Every time, every time. One of the safest and one of the easiest route to write conclusions. Connect also with the topic. Okay? Now, I'm reading it out loud. World population problems include environmental degradation, resource depletion, increased climate change, and biodiversity loss from the increased consumption and waste. Coming from which approach? We have done the approaches of population theory. Who has said this? Neo-Malthusian. Isn't what he was saying that the world population will actually lead to all these problems? Malthusian नहीं बोलेंगे तो क्योंकि उन्होंने सिर्फ फूड के ऊपर डिपेंडेंसी बोला था, ठीक है? Now, social issues like housing shortages, food, water insecurity, overwhelmed infrastructure, and rising poverty and inequality also arise. What are the environmental problems that one is going to face? Resource depletion, then environmental degradation, then climate change, and then biodiversity loss. What is resource depletion? Over exploitation of the resources, right? So more people require more food and water and energy and other natural resources. Can you tell me one of the contrast statement that we have done few days back? Anybody who is promoting this? Any theory which is promoted? You have not done the optimum theory, na? You were not in that class. No, no. And acha kar liya aapne? Okay. So do you think optimum theory can be one of that? You're able to rise the population only till when? पर कैपिटा इनकम इंक्रीज हो रहा है, लेकिन क्या क्या फूड के बारे में बात कर रहा था उन्होंने? They only talk about what? Only one factor, which is economics. So this cannot be the contrast. Can you tell me another approach? Anti, yes, definitely. Anti-Malthusian. Correct, correct, correct. Right. And what else? Which else is going to be against it? जो सपोर्ट करे पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ को, वन अप्रोच. नहीं, उनको पॉपुलेशन से प्रॉब्लम था नहीं उनको, ऐसा नहीं है, पॉपुलेशन तो कम ही करना था. बॉसर अप, ईस्टर बॉसर अप, व्हाट शी सेड. ईस्टर more population means more motivation for the people to do what? Land intensification. ठीक है. So that is what. Second is your environmental degradation. Rapid population growth is linked to increased air and water pollution and deforestation and habitat destruction and waste production. Now next is climate change. Higher population growth contributes to increased carbon emissions and other greenhouse gases from burning fossil fuels and exacerbating global warming. Right? Does it? Definitely in the present context we can definitely discuss this. Next is biodiversity loss. Does it lead to biodiversity loss? Definitely. Right? I think you don't need to discuss much on these topics because they have been discussed many times and now they are very normal also. Right? Next is social and economic problems. What problems one goes through when there is a world population problems? So we can divide it one in the environmental category, right? We are discussing from the different categories. So one is your environmental, the other one is your social and economic patterns. Infrastructure strain, definitely when more people will be dependent on one area, then they have to diversify, they have to move out of that place जब density ज़्यादा हो जाएगी. Rapid population growth can overwhelm existing infrastructure, leading to inadequate housing, transportation, education and healthcare system. What about food and water insecurity? Definitely it will be there. Poverty inequality, right? It is also going to be there, right? There is an Oxfam report that you can go through if you have to really go with poverty and inequality. They release the reports and that is one of the reports that one can have an insight of what is happening uh, of the different groups of like how the classes are different because of the economic differences. Okay. So do you think that after 2019 COVID, the people have actually, the difference between the people, like haves and haves not, have actually increased? And why one can think of that? क्यों? क्यों ऐसा हुआ है? See, in COVID-19, people were, one was people were not aware of a lot of things, like no one was, right? But the point is, the people who were having, we categorized as haves, they were still having the better, they have an edge, like they can put the money, they can invest in the money and then they can understand what is happening around them. Also, the haves not were actually not having enough money, whatever savings they were having, they actually put it out in the medication, right? There was a discussion of this in also the economic survey 2021, which we call it as out of pocket expenditure, right? And the out of pocket expenditure of the Indians are too much, way higher than the Western nations. If you talk about European countries, the out of pocket expenditure is very very less, right? Because the education and the healthcare is taken care by the government. But on the contrary, in India, the out of pocket expenditure is very very high, and because of that, the differences between the two groups actually got widened, right? The riches were becoming more richer, the riches becoming more and more richer, the poorer becoming more and more poorer. The first is that whatever savings they had to give it, just shell it out, right? And second was because of the uncertainty, a lot of people actually, because the sector was getting too much what, unorganized at that point of time, because a lot of people were diversifying because they were migrating. Yes, that was also happening, so that instability caused a lot of people problem. On the other hand, the people who were having more wealth with them, for example liquidity or whatever, they could gain more what advantage? They had an edge. Why? Because they could invest in what? For example, in real estate, they could invest a lot. In stocks, they could invest a lot at that point of time because the market crashed, right? And that's the best time to put or invest your money when your market actually gets crashed, right? And because they know that ultimately the yes the it will regain the restructure will happen of each and every company, and then they will get the money back, right? So this is how the differences happen. Right. In America, it is said so that top 1% of the people have 97% of the wealth accumulated with them. That is the case in America. Right. In India is also it is like that only, but not 1% having 97%. Yes, yes. And also the kind of a millionaires that have increased from 2019 are too much, right? The millionaires have actually doubled in India, right? There was a recent report which has come on the millionaires in India. Okay, the last one is your unemployment, generating enough employment opportunities for all. Next is the population aging. This is also the problem, and we had a discussion of that in Japan. Population is aging is one of the demographic challenges that China and Japan is going through, right? Population aging is a global phenomena characterized by an increase in the proportion of older individuals within a population, increasing survival at an older age, declining fertility, and reduction in mortality. A report released by United Nations Population Fund and Help Age India suggests that number of elderly persons is expected to go 173 millions by 2026. What are the challenges of it? While India's demographic transition promises opportunities, it also presents significant challenges, particularly in terms of an aging population. Okay. Now, what are the economic challenges that one is going to face with the population increase? Population stress. The first one is, and very prominent, is dependency ratio, right? Can you tell me one example where people are highly dependent? Hmm? हाँ, कहाँ पे और किस किस चीज में इकोनॉमिकली डिपेंडेंट है पीपल आर? एजुकेशन इंडिया में तो बहुत ज्यादा है, राइट? पीपल आर हाईली डिपेंडेंट ऑन दैट. व्हाट एल्स? Older population, yes, yes, and comes under that. और बताइए. हाँ, डिजिटल नो हाउ. ओके. पीडीएस पे डेफिनेटली इकोनॉमिक डिपेंडेंस है आपका, मतलब वैसे डिपेंडेंसी रेशियो है फूड के ऊपर. मेस में. कैन यू टेल मी अदर एग्जांपल्स लाइक अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस इन इंडिया, लाइक फ्रॉम डिफरेंट कंट्री? It's given by same as it's given by government. That is a dependency ratio. That more children will means what? More dependency on the government, because they have to ultimately take care of the education, and then they have to allocate the budget for the education sector also way high, right? Hmm. Hmm. करेक्ट, करेक्ट, करेक्ट. सो सी डिपेंडेंसी ज्यादा ना हो, इसके लिए हिस्ट्री में भी बहुत कुछ हुआ है, राइट? कैन यू टेल मी फ्रॉम द हिस्ट्री वन एग्जांपल व्हाट हैज हैपेंड so that the dependency of the people should not be there? What Hitler has done? Yes, why? Holocaust, right? Why? Do you know that he was the one who actually removed all the people who were dependent Yes, disabled people, right? And also differentially abled, right? People also, and your people who were not that enough what intelligent, right? So he tried to remove those people out of the community so that they should not be dependent. He wanted superior of the superior people to rule the country, right? They should be the part of the country, and when the superiors will be the part of the country, then what will happen? Dependency कम होगा, right? Dependency बहुत ज़्यादा कम होगा. So in the history also this notion has come. Okay, next is fiscal stress. Providing healthcare, pension, and social security benefit to an aging population requires substantial public expenditure. That is another point. Then reduced workforce participation, definitely that adds on to the distress. A decline in the working age population can be led to labor shortages affecting economic growth, productivity, sectors reliant on labor intensive processes, right? Now, feminization of old age. What do you mean by that? Yes, number of women. Yes, number of women outliving men, right? So, is becoming increasingly pronounced in India. This trend is primarily attributed to factors such as higher life expectancy among women, gender disparity in healthcare access, and traditional gender roles that often prioritize the needs of men. Okay. Then caregiver burden. What is this caregiver burden? Yes, caregiver in the family that one takes, right, for giving to the child, right, which is born in there, right. Next is your property rights, etc. Despite legal provision, many elderly women face challenges in accessing property rights and leaving them economically and socially disadvantaged. Do you think this is one of the problems in India? Right? Because the rights which have been given to men hereditarily are not so vocally given to the females, right? They have to ask for their rights, but that is not given to them, right? Either they have to build their own legacy, or then they have to depend on their husbands, right? Or what they can take another route. All right, so this is one of the point that needs to be taken care of. Next is neglect of women's health. Women's health needs, particularly in the old age, often receive less attention compared to men. So this is all the points we are discussing as with respect to a old age, right? Next is elderly care, intergeneration relationship, health and disability, right? Next point I have written is of the rethinking silver, lessons from Japan's age ready city smart platinum society. What this is talking about? This is a report which was given by Japan few years back, and it talked about Japan aims for an age-free society, and what it is planning in that, promoting a productive 100-year life for citizens. 100-year life for citizens. Yes, very aspirational, right? And second is vision includes society 5.0, where adults are active in the workforce and society contributed to growing longevity economy, right? So older adults क्या होंगे? वो active होंगे आपकी in promoting the economy. जो older adults हैं, right? So they are working towards that how you can harness the older adults in making the economy more stronger. ठीक है? Then infrastructure adaptation, they talked about strategies include repurposing schools into the care facilities, adapting community spaces for multi-generation use. Then urban mobility and accessibility. Japanese city attract older residents due to their walkability and accessibility. Initiative emphasizes universal design in public transport and infrastructure. Then next we can have the example from China. China's one-child policy, a cautionary tale, right? Because they wanted to prevent it deliberately, right? It was a top to bottom approach that they applied, right? And they adopted. Implemented from 1979 to 2015, it aimed to curb the rapid population growth. While initially lauded for its success in slowing population growth, the policy had a unintended and detrimental effects. Okay, इसका impacts क्या क्या होते हैं? What are the impacts that one can have? The first is your demographic imbalance. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल a demographic balance should be maintained in order to promote anything. अगर demographic balance नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा? There would be problems in the policies, right? So then you will be able to make your policy in such a way so that क्या होगा, working population इतनी नहीं होगी तो क्या होगा, either you have more children or either you will have the old age people. ठीक है. Next is your socio-economic issues like labor shortages definitely causing for shrinking workforce, hinder economic growth. Next is your ethical concern. The policy of forced sterilization and abortions implemented with varying strictness raised ethical concerns and potentially had severe psychological impacts on parents, desiring larger families and highlighting significant human rights and emotional issues. Definitely, in China, people maybe wanted to have a larger family, but they could not do because otherwise they will be deprived of the basic amenities that China was providing to them, and there were stricter laws than this. There were the more stringent penalties for having a child more than one in China, and people were not ready for that. We also have a soft penalties. Uh, for example, if you are saying that if you have two child only, then you are eligible for maybe the government exams. These are the soft uh, penalties that one can have, right? You're not you're not. This is not coming out of coercion. This is coming out of the consequences that one can have. Okay. Okay. This is all about these topics. How much time do we have? We have almost 20 minutes. Okay. We have completed 3 topics, right? Okay. Now, can you write down the questions for this? And then we'll quickly move on to the migration issues. Have you taken down the question on globalization? Write down. Globalization can often subsum folk culture. What are its positive and negative effects? Can often subsume sume folk culture, folk culture, full stop. What are its positive and negative effects? This is a question from CSE 2019. It should come under what topic of your syllabus? Okay. Your next is Write down. Have you taken this question? Aging population has adverse social and economic consequences. Explain with example. The direct question from the settlement is not here right now. I have to see. See, not as of now in this, not much. Okay. Okay, so direct नहीं है, mixture है. For example, the topics that we have not done, like for example migration. So migration का कुछ topic और फिर उनका topic mix होके है. So otherwise you won't be able to write. ठीक है ना? So maybe tomorrow I'll give, and already you have too much to do, right? You have lot in backlog. Okay, so introduce. I'll introduce this topic to you, which is migration. Okay, and the consequences. This is one of the topic, causes and consequences of the migration. Okay. Okay, so can you tell me from where why the person wants to, or a group of people wants to migrate from one place to another? What could be the possible reasons for it? Huh? Push and pull factors. That is very basic, very good. Migration can be because of lot of push and pull factors. And what are these push and pull factors? Now, what do you mean by push and pull factors? What are the major differences between them? Yes, one incentive that one can have from going from one place to another. For example, these like from very long time we were migrating from one place from India to another markets. For example, America, for the lucrative markets that one has for them. For example, lucrative job options where in America, right? Because they were getting what? Higher packages, right? They were getting as very um, huh? Yes, economic opportunities, better facilities, and the compensations were also very high. Yes, they were having a very high compensation here. Less? No, in America it is high. Taxes are very high. Taxes are so high that some people they are not able to meet their rents and they have to do 2 jobs in a day, right, in order to pay their bill. And recently only there was one of the report comes from London that the people are not very happy there because the higher inflation and they are not able to meet the ends. Therefore, they have to work a lot. So in London is also not very happy, right? What is happening there? I mean UK. Right. Similarly goes to America. Americans were very much distressed from this point only. Why the whole thing has changed? H1B visas, because Americans were not that happy because the job were given to more to the outsiders, they are foreigners, right? And they were Indians were constituting the major chunk of it. Like Indians were the major, they were major, forming the major chunk who were having what H1B visas, right? And what are they? These are the non-immigrant workers visa, right?
That's why we are seeing high number of hate crimes against
Hmm.
Indians
Hmm.
and other
Hmm.
global south countries
Hmm.
in Vancouver.
Yes, right. So they were the holders, right? The Goldman Sachs or maybe the JP Morgan, your Amazon, Microsoft, Google, they were the ones who actually used to hire the highly skilled people in different categories, your science, your mathematics, your research, etc. And then they used to hire them. And this phenomena has been going on from a very long time. According to Trump, this H1B visas was over abused. What do you mean by over abused? That means companies were actually using them a lot so that they can hire those people more and they can dump Americans. Because in America they have to pay higher salary to the Americans. But now with the additional fee that has come with 1 crore annual fee, that is nearly your dollar 1 lakh, right? Now it is same. If somebody you are calling from outside, then you have to also make an arrangement for additional fee. There is another charge, and there are actually 3 slabs one has to give. Total pehle aata tha dollar 5,000 6,000. It used to be done, right, for applying the visa and getting it. Now it is costing 1,000 100 $1,000, right? So this is a huge difference. And then when you have to pay it annually, then it again add to the cost, right? So this is not that easy. Now again America is becoming aspirational for a lot of people. Today only in India, today I read an article which was saying America is no longer for the Desi Indians, right? India Today had this article. So this is what it is. So these are the pull factors. These were the pull factors of this, not push, but pull. Right? By mistake, it has been written here. They were the pull factor because it's just very fascinating for the people to go there, and even now also, right? Even though they know the situation now, it's very fascinating for the people that we will go to USA, and we'll have everybody's choices there, and one should go also. But the point is that you have to also understand what is happening because of this, the migration, right? People are migrating. See, migration is, there are two different words, migration and mobility, right? And there was also a question on PYQ. In PYQ geography, what is the difference between mobility and migration, right? So one has to difference, you have to identify the difference. One is going from one place to another place, to and fro, again and again, but not for the work, not for residing. That is known as mobility. You're mobiling means, yeah, you're moving from one place to another just for the work and coming back. Now migration means what? You are permanently settling for a certain period of time there, right? And you are actually assimilating in that area with that culture, right? So that is what is it is known as. So now this is called your, and I told you one of the example which is a very recent one, which is pull factor. Similarly आपका, मैंने आपको दो कंट्रीज में बताया. जब हम इंडिया के बारे में पढ़ेंगे, so I'll tell you about the different states. Now because I'm discussing in about the world, so I'm discussing India versus America, India versus Europe, why the markets are so lucrative for the Indian nationals, and it's also causing a lot of consequences are also there for the people considering that as one of the most aspirational places to work with, right? Why? Because also there are other factors. For example, if I discuss about this thing, brain drain, right? The brain drain is also happening a lot, and which is not good for the country, right? Illegal migration is also one of the factor, but that is, pull factor is only leading to illegal migration because people are they're so desperate to go at that in that territory that they can take any means, right? That is a consequence. But the another thing which is happening is brain drain. Brain drain means the best of the best minds are going from India to another places, right? So this is not also too much acceptable. Today only Zoho founder, right? He has said, he's made a statement that people who are coming back, they said that Indians in America should come back, they should not distress themselves. Right? Do not live in fear. This was a statement. The catchline was of Zoho founder was, do not live in fear, come back. to India, right? So and it's okay, right? Nobody, see, when you have the talent, you don't need to fear, right? People who do not have the talent, they need to fear, or maybe they are also, that's very subjective statement, but that could be one of the things, that people have invested, maybe they have the lands there. Correct. That, yeah, that could be one of the issue. Definitely. Yes. Good point. Acha, so what are you in touch with him? So what he said on this?
Job is being offered to him in Pune as well.
Mm-hmm.
He recently got a new house.
Where? Acha, okay. So had you had a discussion, because in a very short period he has said, Trump presidency has issued that in a very short period, right? और ये problems migration का हमेशा ही रहेगा. For example, अगर आपने migration is happening because of this fact, economic factors. Can you tell me another factor which is very lucrative for the people? Political stability, right? That is also one is searching for. Cleanliness, right? These are pollution-free area, pollution-free environment, right? You want a stabilization also, politically also. But in Canada, I think the political stability is not that much, right? People were living in apprehension, especially the Indians, and they were not feeling safe few months back, right? So, yes, because there are a lot of in violence happening inside the countries, that is also not safe. Okay, so. Hmm. Hmm. Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So the education also, and then the problem of cooperating and adjusting in this environment.
Correct. It's very difficult.
It takes much longer time than it's going to be difficult.
Correct. And what about the push factors? The push factors are one, you are forced. Actually, uh, you are you are not going by choice. You are going by compulsion to some other place. Yes, क्लाइमेट इश्यूज बहुत ज़्यादा अगर बढ़ जाए, डिजास्टर्स आने लगे, जैसे फ्लड्स एरिया में, कोस्टल रीजन्स में जब भी फ्लड्स आते हैं, those are the example of push factors, because there is no other choice, one has to go out of that place. Indonesia में not many times the volcanic eruptions are happening, that is also push factors, right? So these are some of the cases where the situation is not handled and you have to forcefully migrate the area because there is no other choice. Now, migration happening from one place to another place, do you think the globalization has actually led to a lot of migration? It promotes migration or it reverses the migration? What it does, globalization, the concept of globalization, it promotes the migration, right? The formation of EU, the European Union, it's actually led the movement of the people from one place to another place very easily, because no visas are to be applied within the EU. The trade is, the taxes are not there, the free movement of the people are there, right? One currency has to be followed, right? So the people will not be having more problem, right? Even the workers, the employees also not, they are not going to have any problem, and the employers also they are not going to have any problem. Then you have the standardization, uniformation in a lot of laws, in a lot of aspects, then the life becomes easy, right? So that is one example. और क्या push factors हो सकते हैं? Pollution एक push बहुत ज़्यादा हो सकता है जब बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ जाए. Overpopulation, very good. When the density of an area becomes very much, then you have to leave that area, right? Because it becomes unlivable, right? What else? Yes, roads, and because somewhere else you are having the better infrastructure. Okay, so connectivity can be the issue. If you're not having a good connectivity with other places, then definitely you have to go and move out of that places, right? So these are some of the push factor, and also the famines. Earlier they used to have famines, and your scarcity of something, then that can also lead to all that. Okay. So that could be, yes, social discrimination, right? So these are some of the factors. I have just introduced the topic to you, and tomorrow we'll do it in detail, introduction, etc., consequences, and then We will have the causes, consequences. So tomorrow we'll do 2-3 topics again. I'll just read it out. Your hierarchy of urban settlements, your causes and consequences of migration, then your urban morphology, your concept of primate city and rank size rule, and then your urban, our rural urban fringe was there in this year's paper. Sif, direct questions are, do you remember? Right, there was a direct question on that rural urban fringe and satellite towns. We'll have a discussion on all of them tomorrow. All right. If you have any doubt, you have 2 minutes, you can just ask. That has to start after Indian geography, basically. But yours will be completed. Do not worry. You stay in touch with me. Okay. You have. Do not worry about your course. That is my job to complete. Okay. When the cycle will be repeated now, after Indian geography, we will do the whole paper 2. After that, geomorphology. Okay, Dhruv is saying something. Ma'am, can you please share the soft copies of these notes? Oh yes, I have to tell people, the concerned person to upload it on the portal, and that definitely will be done by today, or maybe by tomorrow evening. By tomorrow morning, definitely. Please read out these notes at home. Although you had a rough reading today, right? I've explained each and every part of it, and you had a less of writing also. I think that is also good for you today because enough of writing I've done the entire classes, right? Right. So when you have the notes with you, that is fine. But notes नहीं होते तो फिर से बोलना, it's not a thing, right? This is a better way. Okay, do the questions, okay? Thank you so much, class.